Hi guys, today I'm going to be showing you some examples of distributive property. Some of them have positive numbers, some have negative numbers and combinations. So let's get going. So the distributive property, what it essentially is telling you to multiply a term on the outside by everything on the inside. We know that parentheses mean multiply. So what we're doing is taking this term, in this case it's 2, and we're multiplying it by everything inside the parentheses. So we're multiplying it by the x, and we're also multiplying it by the second term. Now the second term is a positive 5, so we'll be multiplying those two together. So let's get started. 2 times x. 2 times x is 2x. Now 2 times a positive 5 is positive 10. Because that last term is positive, we're going to put plus 10. Now we're not solving these equations, we're just simplifying them. We're simplifying them to get rid of that parentheses. So 2 parentheses x plus 5 end parentheses simplified is equal to 2x plus 10. Let's look at another example. Now in this next example, we have a negative number out front. We still have our x plus 5 inside the parentheses. It works the same way. We take this number that's on the outside and we multiply it by the first term inside the parentheses, and we multiply it by the second term in the parentheses. So let's do that. Here we have negative 2 times x. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. And then our second term, negative 2 times a positive 5. I know it's positive because it's plus 5. So negative 2 times positive 5. A negative times a positive is a negative number. So because negative 2 times 5 equals negative 10, my answer is going to be minus 10. Let me show you one other way to do this. So we have negative 2 times x, and we have negative 2 times 5, positive 5. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times 5 is negative 10. And you can see right here, negative 2x is how we get that. In the second term, negative 10 is how we get the remainder of the expression over here. So you're putting them together right here. These two terms, negative 2x minus 10. Negative 2x minus 10. All right, I'm going to show you another example. Okay, this one has the subtraction sign inside the parentheses. Again, the process is exactly the same. We take this number that's on the outside, we multiply it by the term on the inside of the parentheses, we multiply it by the term, the second term on the inside of the parentheses. So let's take a look at this. We have our first multiplication is positive 2 times x. Our second part of this is 2 times negative 5. Now we get the negative 5 right here. This sign is what you're multiplying by. So let's go ahead and multiply this out. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times negative 5, remember a positive times a negative is negative 10. We put this together. 2x, now this is a negative, so this becomes minus 10. If that second term is negative, you're going to have a minus 10. If the second term was positive, you'd have a plus 10. The multiplication of that second term, this right here, is how you determine if it's going to be an addition or subtraction sign in the simplified expression. Okay. Now, lastly, we have a negative number and a subtraction. So we'll see how this works. All right. So we have negative 2 times x. I'm sorry. Negative 2 times x. And we have negative 2 times negative 5. Okay, so let's go ahead and multiply these out. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5. A negative times a negative is a positive. So this is positive 10. Okay, so we have our two terms over here, but let's do it the other way that I've been showing you. You take this first term, multiply it by your x. You take negative 2 and you multiply it by your second term. Now again, be careful, you're multiplying it by this whole term right here. So we've done that over here. Negative 2 times x is negative 2x. Negative 2 times negative 5. Negative 2 times negative 5 is positive 10. Because that second term is positive, the remainder of this expression is going to be plus 10. All right. Let's see. I'm going to give you an example to try on your own. Hang on a second. All right, here are 3 examples. I want you to try them on your own. I'll give you a couple seconds to work on that. All right, if you need more time, you can always pause the video, but let's go ahead and do this. So we have 3 times x and 3 times 4. So this expression is equal to 3x plus 12. Okay, and then the next one we have negative 4 times x and negative 4 times 8. So we have negative 4 times x is negative 4x. Negative 4 times positive 8 is negative 32 or minus 32. Okay, and our third one, we have negative 5 times positive 6, negative 5 times negative x. Negative 5 times 6 is negative 30. Negative 5 times negative x. And negative times a negative is a positive. So this is positive 5x. All right, thank you very much.